Here we are a little bit off the road. And here's another gall-infested shingle oak. And next to them is what I am pretty sure is a common juniper. They're kind of rare in this state. It's got fairly big needles, a little bit of whiteness underneath. Kind of a rocky, sandy area in general, but it's the only one around here. He's starting to get shaded out by these trees next to him. And but you can see we're next to like a bunch of pines and scrub oaks and that. This is some big, I don't know, quarry or gravel pit area here that's got a little bit of a wetland in the middle of it now, but it's kind of a rocky, sandy stuff. You can kind of see the mound they put there to keep people from coming back here and dumping shit. But it's kind of a rocky, sandy soil, so possibly, but not sure. Could also be something that was in somebody's backyard and got dumped here and spread, because there's also, next to this guy, the green evergreen looking stuff is actually a domestic flower called Vinca. So, but then again, you've got, you know, oak and pine, and you know, it's a little bit wet here. It's very rocky, sandy soil, so I'm not sure what to make of it. Like I said, also quite a dump. It's a four-wheel drive trails back here. Kind of hoping with a little bit more sun coming out, maybe there'd be some sort of spring peepers or spotted salamanders or something creeping around in here, but so far I'm not seeing anything. Sometimes they surprise me. I think nothing would be out yet, and you go and you'll see an egg mass out in the middle of one of these things. I think everything I'm seeing so far is just ice, but yeah, some sedges and wetland plants here. And say it could have been a place where they were actually just sort of mining the sand. You can see how sandy the banks are over there. I said it might be that a bird pooped out a seed for a juniper, and it decided to grow and liked it here. I just don't know. But at any rate, the other trail I was going to go on looks a little bit occupied. Some cars parked there. One of them parked right in front of the gate, which is kind of a no-no, but probably wander on to a different area from here. Here's a shingle oak where I can get up real close and personal on these galls here, so you can kind of see what they are. I think these ones are a fungal infection. Sometimes they're insects. I think this is a fungus, though. It seems kind of hard and everything, but see one starting here. These growths they seem to be full of them. There's a ton of them on it there. The trees seem to keep growing with them. I see some long, unserrated leaves here. The shingle oak, they don't have any lobes or serrations or anything, and they do seem really prone to these galls, at least in this region. I don't know if they do better. We're kind of towards the north end of their range. Maybe they do a little bit better resisting them in other areas, but yeah. More of the virgin's bower over there. Nice effect. Just thought I'd show how twisty the wood on that dead tree is. See the swirl on it from a distance. I'm on a trail I haven't been on before. I've been on the ones at the top of the hill. I've been on the one down by the creek. This one's about halfway up. A couple of nice, decent sized trees. Most of them are younger, but still nice. Here's a little bit of our old friend, the sphagnum moss here. I'm trying to colonize a little puddle along the side of the trail. Not the most sunny place, but still fairly open. There's a little creek coming in from the side, and there's these big hummocks here. These were probably cinnamon ferns. You can see a little bit of a frond hanging on there. For the most part, the fronds died back and just left stumps, but that would be my best guess. You see more on that side going over there. It's kind of an engineering thing here. That right there is a corrugated metal pipe. You can see that the bottom of it is missing a good portion of the way back. And that's normal because even though they're galvanized as stormwater, or in this case it's just a stream going through, the water brings sand and rocks and debris through there. It rubs the coating off the bottom rusts out, and next thing you know you have a sinkhole. And that's the reason why we have a lot of the sinkholes that we have in Pennsylvania. The pipe's cheaper, but most of your cost is in the labor putting in the pipe. You ought to use the good stuff. Put in some some good high-strength vitrified clay, not terracotta drainage tile shit, or use the reinforced concrete. The stuff will last a lot longer time. Actually, VCP, because of the terracotta, got a bad name. Terracotta is not fired for as long or as hot. So it's more like a flower pot. You smack it with a hammer, it'll break very easily. You smack two of them together, they break rather easily. Vitrified clay, much more intense heat, and it actually, the vitrified part means it actually turns some of the crystals in it into glass. Much harder. You gotta really, really, really put some force behind it to crack the stuff. And just a much better material, but it's superior in resistance to abrasion compared to even the concrete pipe. Plastic, jury's still out. You can't tell how something that hasn't existed for 50 years is going to be after 50 years. You can try, but the testing in real world, sometimes it matches up, sometimes it doesn't. And while I'm here, just noticing the really nice moss on the bark of this tree. A lot of moss and lichen on this tree. Actually, I'm thinking that might be, well, I'm not sure. I can't see the bark enough through it. So yeah, it might be a hornbeam. Might even be a witch hazel. It looks more like a hornbeam. Looks like it's trying to grow straight. A lot of different mosses, different colors or shades of green and different textures on these rocks here. This is real moss, not sphagnum moss. A little trickle of a creek keeps going there. And we got little bits of, I think this is Foamflower. I might be mistaken, not used to identifying it during winter, but hemlock tree down there. But moving on, just wanted to show the pipe rotting out and some of this neat moss on the trees here. This is a hornbeam that's got some moss growing on it that fell over, And, oh man, I lost track of it. Yeah, here's a little bit of what's left of what the seeds look like. So, just thought I'd show that. There's another one here sitting there. These are the leaves. The leaves are a lot like an elm tree. I'm gonna break them trying to open them up, but they're toothy around the edge and sort of your generic leaf-shaped leaf. But figured since it fell down next to the trail, I'd go a little bit more in depth on it. Okay, the sun's at my back. I'm generally walking north on this trail. I'm looking to my right. Now that tree out there does have moss predominantly on the north side. So does the other one behind it there. But then come back to that guy in there, second one back there. He's got most of his moss on the south side, so. And the moss goes all the way around on most of these trees. Just pointing out that's an old wives' tale as far as the moss on the north side of a tree. We got a white oak, nice old white oak. Still see the leaves on it. Even the leaves on the ground, you can see the lobes on the leaf. A lot of white oak in here. Some cherry trees and the normal. Ooh, turkeys crossing up there. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, they're pretty much off the trail now. And pretty soon, hunters will be out again. Not exactly sure who this is, but these little things here are some sort of a mustard. You can also tell because you crush them, they smell like mustard greens. But, yeah. All mustards are edible to some extent, but be careful. Obviously, you're not getting the smell through the camera, so. Trying to see if I can pick up the turkeys again. Don't see them, no. Well, the trail seems to have ended in this big maintained field with a row of trees in the middle. So I'll circle around the edge and see what we can see. Not sure there's anything all that interesting in here, but it's worth a look. Not sure how much you get the difference on film, but if you look at these trees, they're not quite as rough as a big tooth aspen would be, and they tend to come out to like the finest branches are a little bit thinner. And found a leaf on the ground too. You see it's just got a little bit of fine serrations. It doesn't have the bigger teeth like a big tooth aspen. There's a good bit of variety in the leaf size. This is a fairly small leaf. Big tooth aspen tends to have a little bit bigger leaves, but there's a broad overlap. A lot of it depends on where they're growing and how much water they get and things like that. But wanted to kind of point this out. That's what I'm talking about, the difference in the bark. I mean, it's very, very similar. It's kind of gray, or sometimes it will be a little bit more whitish than this. But it tends not to get as rough on an equivalent size branch as the big tooth aspen. So, I'm just about at the top of this field here.